Very soon, Lai Mohammed assures Nigerians. Edo government bars unvaccinated civil servants from entering secretariat. And Nigeria's inflation declines for 5th consecutive month. News now, I'm Oni Adekunle. After months of back and forth, the National Association of Resident Doctors (NAD) has eventually agreed to sign a memorandum of understanding with the federal government in a bid to end the lingering strike. The National Industrial Court has restrained the doctors from continuing with the action after the federal government filed a suit against the association on August 23rd, but NAD defied this order and went ahead with the action to push their demands over irregular payment of salaries, among other salient issues. At the court session on Wednesday, counsel representing the federal government, Tochukwu Maduka, filed a case of contempt against NAD. However, counsel to the doctors, Femi Falana, prayed all parties to return to the negotiation table, after which the case was adjourned till Friday.
Right? That was not signed by our client. Right? We studied the agreement and we have advised our client that since there is a clause there that nobody shall be penalized or sanctioned for participating in the industrial action, we believe that there should be no inhibition in signing the agreement, trusting that there will be good faith on the part of the government, so that we can put this matter behind us.
The judge, in his wisdom, has given a window of 48 hours for all issues in the Memorandum of Understanding signed at the instance of the Minister of Labour and the Nigerian Medical Association. And within those 48 hours, we expect government to fulfill its part, while we on our own part, we are very ready to go back to work as soon as possible. But the caveat that all the decisions as reached shall be done within 48 hours. We know members of the public are in dire need of our services. We are also in dire need to provide our services to the members of the public, and this we do with joy and pride for country and for God.
Over 100 days after the federal government slammed the suspension on Twitter, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has assured Nigerians that the microblogging site would soon be allowed to resume its activities in the country. Lai Mohammed disclosed this while fielding questions from State House correspondents alongside other ministers at the end of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Bisola Adebayo completes the story.
5 weeks ago, after the cabinet meeting of August 11, the Minister of Information and Culture announced that the suspension of Twitter will be lifted soon, following a truce formally reached with the microblogging site. But there has been no further update from both sides since then. Again, using the same words, the minister is assuring Nigerians that the wait is almost over.
I want to assure you that the time that Twitter operation has been suspended, between the time it has been suspended and when it will be, restored, is by far much shorter. All we're trying to do is, the exchanges have been going on, but we need to dot the I's and also cross the T's.
Issues bordering on food production were also discussed at the cabinet meeting. Making good its promise to explore diverse opportunities for food security, Council has approved a contract for the completion of an irrigation project in Sokoto State.
We inherited this project. It's also an inherited project. By the time it's completely finished, we're getting hopefully to get a production of 39,000 tons of rice, 195,000 tons of vegetables per annum, and it will generate employment for nothing less than 47,000 people and their families.
On his part, Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola says the cabinet approved contracts for completion of 3 unfunded road projects inherited from the previous administration.
The contract for 13.5 kilometer spur of road from Onitsha Owerri Road through Okija, Ihembosi, Afo Ukpo to Ezinifite in Nnewi South local government area of Anambra State. The second one is the 20-kilometer dualization of Yenegua Road Junction to Kulu, to Utuke, and to Bayelsa Palm in Bayelsa State.
Fashola says council also approved the contract for the completion of the 74-kilometer Nasarawa to Loko Road, which was awarded 15 years ago. According to the minister, this approval is significant because the completion of the road will save commuters 3 hours journey from Otukwo in Benue State to Abuja, the nation's capital. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
Before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting, President Muhammadu Buhari swore in 3 new national commissioners of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Those sworn in include Baba Bila, representing the Northeast Zone, Sani Adam for North Central, and Abdullahi Abdul, representing Northwest. Speaking after the event, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, urged all appointees to bring their vast knowledge and experience to the commission to improve the country's electoral management.
We want to assure Nigerians that we'll continue to do our best conscientiously, and to continue to improve the transparency and credibility of elections in Nigeria. The new commissioners that have just been sworn in are bringing with them accumulated intellectual and administrative experience, and I'm confident that they will add value to our work.
Some of the appointees thanked the president for the opportunity to serve and pledged their commitment to delivering free, fair and credible polls in the country.
We thank God for this opportunity to serve our people, and we want to assure Nigerians that we will be very honest and sincere in our activities.
It's a privilege to be chosen among millions. We intend to work diligently to ensure that free and fair elections are realizable in Nigeria, to fulfill the objective of the president to deliver free and fair elections. And we are here to assist the chairman to achieve these laudable objectives, to add value to the wonderful job that he has been doing, and we hope to maintain that course.
Some of the challenges facing the federal government in the fight against illegal mining are lack of adequate manpower, a low level of technology, and the connivance of some security officers with illegal miners. The Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development, Uche Oga, disclosed this at a 3-day public hearing organized by the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, Mines, Steel Development and Metallurgy in Abuja. Mojisola Matomi tells us more.
In December 2020, the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative reported that Nigeria loses 9 billion naira annually to illegal mining and gold smuggling. At this public hearing aimed at investigating the loss, the Minister of State for Mines and Steel Development tells the State Committee that some private jet owners are aiding smuggling of gold in the country while calling for capital punishment for offenders.
There's a need for this country to scrutinize every private jet that is leaving this country and the purpose, their destination, and what are they for. I am of the opinion that even the Senate should make a law that illegal mining or smuggling should be a capital punishment. We've come to the level that said, even if you want to have your artisanal mining license, use it to mine, pay government revenue, and if you want to fly to Jerusalem, you're free to do that.
A member of the committee, Senator Francis Fadaunsi, also accused political elites of playing a huge role in gold smuggling and illegal mining in Nigeria.
The minister defined smuggling for us is you don't pay duty. You don't pay regard to the appropriate authority. Then who are those people involved in this smuggling? Who are they? It is people like us, the elite, the political elites, the governors, the diplomats, all the high up are behind all this, anything smuggling. The poor ones cannot. The poor ones, they do it on behalf of the big ones. And when they are caught, you cannot get anything in the judiciary to be had.
Uchioga adds that the government will no longer tolerate any act of sabotage.
We cannot support anybody, no matter the level of the person who is aiding and abetting illegal mining or gold smuggling. That person should be brought to book. And I believe that if that is done, a lot of people will run away from illegal mining and they will seek the right way to do it.
In his closing remarks, the chairman of the committee, Senator Tanko Almakura, says heads of relevant government agencies would be summoned to appear before it for thorough investigation into the report. Mojisola Matomi, TV360, Abuja.
A Southwest Youth Political Conference under the aegis of GYB to PYB support group has called on Governor Yahaya Bello of Kogi State to make himself available to run for the 2023 presidential election under the platform of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC. The group, which mobilized thousands of youths across the Southwest and some parts of the North Central in Lagos on Tuesday, said Governor Bello has demonstrated more than enough commitment to good governance in Kogi and remains the best to succeed President Muhammadu Buhari. The Chief of Staff to the Kogi Governor Abdulkarim Asuku also expressed optimism that the governor will replicate what he has done in terms of governance in Kogi State nationwide if supported for 2023 presidency.
Yahaya Bello, being the youngest governor in Nigeria, being a man who has proven his track record as a youth ambassador, being a man who has unified a diverse state like Kogi State, being a man who has been able to secure Kogi State amongst all the northern states that have currently been bedeviled by insecurity, is a man that we want as president come 2023.
In Kogi State today, the youth are the decision makers. And that is why the administration of His Excellency Yahaya Bello is rated #1 in security. That is why administration of His Excellency is rated #1 in youth and women empowerment. So now, if we give him chance come 2023, we are saying that the scenario we're having in Kogi State today will be the same that we're going to have in Nigeria at large.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Super Falcons battle Mali in Aisha Buhari Cup opening match. We'll bring you details of that and more shortly. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on News Now. Here's a quick reminder of some of our top stories tonight. The National Association of Resident Doctors NAD has agreed to sign a memorandum of understanding with the federal government in a bid to end the lingering strike. At the resumption of the session at the National Industrial Court on Wednesday, counsel representing the federal government, Tochukwu Maduka, filed a case of contempt against NAD. However, counsel to the doctors, Femi Falana, prayed all parties to return to the negotiation table, after which the case was adjourned till Friday. And we also told you that the federal government says it is very close to lifting the over 100-day suspension on microblogging platform Twitter. At the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting today, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said tremendous progress has been made and the engagement with Twitter so far has been extremely positive without any acrimony. And in case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, do log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. The Edo State government has commenced the implementation of its Operation Show Your Vaccination Card exercise, hiring civil servants and other people without proof of vaccination entry into the state secretariat. The exercise, which began before 7 a.m. on Tuesday, saw the state's head of COVID-19 enforcement team, Yusuf Haruna, manning the main gate of the secretariat. Only those who provided their vaccination cards were granted entry, while others who could not provide it were asked to go back home. The monitoring team also scanned the cards to be sure that they were genuine before allowing its holders into the secretariat. I will take another break here and return with business news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Up next is Business News with Abisola Adebayo. Over to you, Abisola.
Thank you very much, Oyin. Welcome to Business News. The Consumer Price Index, which measures inflation rate, fell to 17.01% in August, the National Bureau of Statistics said on Wednesday. According to the latest CPI report, this rate is 0.37 percentage points lower than the 17.38% recorded in July this year. Inflation dropped from 18.17% in March to 18.12% in April, before dropping further to 17.93%, 17.75% and 17.38% in the months of May, June and July respectively. Well, joining us on the news to further analyze the inflation report is economist Paul Alaje. Thank you for joining us on News Now. Now, Mr. Alaje, what would you say is responsible for the consecutive drop in inflation rate?
Thank you so very much for we've continued to witness this drop in inflation because we are getting to a point where we are seeing some level of stability. When I say stability, I'm not saying that as we speak all is well with our economy, but we have seen some level of improvement from where we were 2020, relatively better now, because when you look at some of the actions government have taken and some of the expectations of government, you see that it seems to be relatively better than when we were under lock and key around this time last year. Quite a number of things have started to happen. A lot of Nigerians are now on the streets, unlike when there was lockdown or interstate restrictions. Most of those are not there. But when you look at the number critically, National Bureau of Statistics has not said inflation has fallen. No. They are saying inflation is increasing at a reducing rate. What it means is that if inflation, a average commodity is 100 naira, is now 117 naira. That is what they are saying. So it is increasing, but the rate of increase between 2019 and 2020 is higher than 2020 and 2021. So inflation is increasing, but it has a decreasing rate. So it's better than when we were at 18%, truthfully. I would say that it's relatively better. But what do we need to do? We need to quickly see how we can complement on most of these gains so that we can drive back inflation to a single digit.
Mr. Alade, even though inflation rate has been dropping, but we can't say the price of food has dropped significantly. So help us understand that situation.
Okay, so when you say inflation has been dropping, that exactly is not what is happening. Inflation is still increasing, but at a reducing rate. When you compare that, when you compare what inflation is doing with what National Bureau of Statistics reported, you would agree with me that National Bureau of Statistics is saying that month on month from your projection, inflation actually increased. But when you compare National Bureau of Statistics figure, what you reported for 2020 to 2019, inflation at that time increased at about, it's relatively higher than what we are doing now. So the way to understand this is that inflation is increasing, but at a reducing rate. When you say inflation is not increasing, then we're having negative or we are saying that we are having deflation. That's not what we are having. It's still inflation, it's still increasing. 17% is still high. So when we now use the word that it is a reducing inflation, we need to be very careful so that people don't interpret things are relatively better. We are saying between July and August, inflation actually increased. So what people can really relate with is month-on-month increase in inflation, which is July versus August. But properly speaking, when you look at what happened in 2020 to 2021, we're saying that the inflation rate for these two periods of time at these 2 years is relatively better. But it does not mean the inflation is better off. We're saying we are beginning to have relative ease, the kind of impact that it had in 2020 when compared to 2021.
Ms. Alade, thank you so much for that clarification. Well, moving on, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has signed a memorandum of understanding with FMDQ Group and Financial Sector Africa on the proposed 25 billion naira green bond issuance towards achieving the global sustainable development goals in the state. Sanwo-Olu says the green bond program, being supported by the UK Agency for International Development, would raise the capacity of the state government to deliver more key infrastructure and social projects.
Opening many profitable ways for investors is to help to protect the planet. One such way that we see that this can happen is through the green bonds. The universal call of action is here to certainly head poverty, to end and to protect our planet, and to ensure that we all enjoy a prosperous and a peaceful world by 2030. The financial sector will therefore need to play a vital role in accelerating both local ability to provide the required support by expanding to green lending by way of an alternative source of funding for financing eligible green projects across the state. So the Green Bond Framework Development Program is a critical first step towards creating a viable financing option for future green and sustainable projects. The state government is saddled with not only delivering an economic growth, but mitigating against the adverse effects on climate change and, of course, waste generation.
We'll take a break here and return with a review of the stock market. The Nigerian Stock Exchange closed bullish today, extending previous sessions gains with a better growth of 0.12%, buoyed by more bargain hunting compared to yesterday's session. The market capitalization also gained over 25 billion naira today, even though it's yet to leave the 38,000 trillion mark. Actually, this increase is because investors use the opportunity of the low prices of stock at the Nigerian Exchange Limited to increase their portfolios, though the bearish sentiment still remained. During the trading session, the volume of equities transacted by investors decreased, with 141 million units of shares valued at almost 3 billion naira exchanged hands in 3,079 deals. But this was also reflected in the market breadth, which closed negative yesterday, with 18 price losers against 14 price gainers, while today's gainers was led by UPDC and Northern Nigeria Flour Mills PLC. They had a combined 86 kobo increase. On the flip side, that's our losers list today. Transco Oil and Chip PLC led the losers table with 55 kobo decline. Moving on to the global market, the FTSE is in the negative territory, while the Dow Jones in the positive, but the Nikkei Japan stocks actually closed negative. That's all on Stock Market Review. Over to Oyin for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you very much, Abisola, for that update. We move on now to the foreign scene, where the Angola's former president, José Eduardo dos Santos, returned to the country on Tuesday after spending 2 years in Spain amid growing tensions between his family and the current head of state, João Lourenço, over alleged corruption. Angolan authorities had accused one of Eduardo's children, billionaire Isabel dos Santos, of embezzling and mismanaging $1 billion from the state oil firm. The former president's son also has legal troubles and was sentenced to 5 years in jail in 2020 for fraud after $500 million was transferred from the National Bank of Angola to an account in the United Kingdom. Eduardo's arrival to Angola comes ahead of the ruling party's Congress in December and presidential elections next year. Well, up next is Entertainment Report on News Now.
Nollywood actress Mercy Aigbe has told anyone who cares to listen that she's nobody's ex. The movie star made their Instagram page, and this is coming after her estranged husband Larry Gentry tied the knot traditionally with his new heartthrob Oluwabusola over the weekend at a very colorful event. Aigbe was formerly known as Mercy Aigbe Gentry before calling it quits is yet to end a marriage to Gentry. Singer, songwriter, and record producer Timilade Okpeni, popularly known as Thames, has announced a sophomore extended play titled If Orange Was the Place. The new project is a smooth one made up of her smooth vocals and breezy beats from Guilty Beats. If Orange Was the Place houses songs like Found, Replay, Avoid Things, and Vibe Out. The EP also houses the recently released Crazy Things, which dropped last Friday. Stand-up comedian Ajebo has enlightened his fans on love matters. Speaking about love, the comic star asserted love that is left unexpressed and absolutely worthless. Ajebo argued that some parents never show love to their kids because they presume it's a sign of weakness. The ex-comedian, however, noted that it is totally alright to give out love and receive the same, adding that some people shouldn't get discouraged by past experiences, thereby depriving themselves of the beauty of expressing their emotions. And that is all that's back for you on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And in sports, Nigeria Super Falcons defeated the Super Eagles of Mali 2-0 at the opening match of the Aisha Buhari Invitational Women's Tournament at the Mobolaji Johnson Stadium, Onikon, Lagos. Striker Monday Gift was the star of the game as she netted a brace to give the Falcons the deserved win to top the Group A table. With notable dignitaries in attendance, this was a 10th meeting between the reigning African champions and Mali. The week-long tournament, which commenced on Wednesday, 15th, which is today, will end on September 21st. That's the size of our bulletin this evening. We thank you for watching. I am Oni Adekunle. Bye for now.